crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Kung Hee Fat Choi, that is Happy New Year in Chinese, and the Chinese New Year begins on Friday 16th of February this year, and it's the year of the dog. And I was inspired to make this by this card here, which I made before I joined Stampin' Up, so these are not Stampin' Up products. But I posted a photograph of this on my blog the other day when I was just doing writing, and I wasn't actually sharing a card that I'd made because I don't like doing blogs without any pictures, and I've always liked this card. Anyway, somebody asked me what products I used for it, and of course it was such a long time ago I didn't remember, but it did start me thinking, could I make this card using Stampin' Up products? And as you can see, the answer to that is yes, I can. For the lanterns, I've used Action Wobbles, and the stamp sets are Stampin' Up, but I have had to do the Kung Hee Fat Choi on my printer. Okay, and I'm going to stick to more or less the same, except what I'm going to do is with the faith and friendship words, I'm going to do them as a background, and the bamboo I'm going to use on my lanterns. And also the main things that I want to show you is one, how I did the lanterns, partly because of the lines and also with the little bits top and bottom. Okay, so I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces you're going to need. The card base is in Very Vanilla, and it measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8, which is 21 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5. Then you need 2 pieces of real red cardstock, and they should measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. And then 2 pieces of Very Vanilla cardstock, which measure 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. And I've forgotten to bring over my piece for the Very Vanilla. You need a piece that's about 4 inches by 8 inches, which is 10.25 by 20.25 centimetres. And you'll need scraps of Very Vanilla for the sentiment and scraps of real red for the little bits on the lantern, and also the layering for the sentiment. I'm not going to worry about the cardstock that's missing because I'm going to use this. Okay. As you can see, I've already taken 3 bits out of here. Right, so I'm going to do my stamping first. And the first bit of stamping is I'm going to do the background on here. Now, it's a lot more time consuming to do the words because they're that much smaller. But I have already prepared a sheet. But I will show you how I've done this. Now, the words come from Artistically Asian stamp set. It's these 2 here, and that word there means faith, and that word there means friendship. I asked Stampin' Up what they meant, and they told me, so I've written on here. You may like to do the same. And also what I've done with the stamps is on the back I've done an arrow to show which way up they go, so that I don't put the word upside down. Okay, so you may like to do that as well. Right, so I'm going to use Sahara Sand ink, and I just want this alternated. I don't want to get the same words all together, which is why it was very time consuming for me. So what I'm going to do is start down this side there, and I'm just going to alternate one after the other. Now, I haven't worried about making sure that this is perfect. All I've done is I've made sure that I've covered the whole sheet and also that I've alternated them. And of course I've got them up the right way. So I'm going to start that one off the paper. If you don't have the patience for this, it is much, much quicker to have the bamboo design on this piece. Okay, so you need to do the whole sheet across there with this, or if you prefer to do the bamboo. Okay, so that's my sheet already done. So the next piece we need to do is, I did for the balloons, I just stamped a complete sheet, and then I was able to place my die on it to decide where I wanted to cut out. So this one I'm going to use the bamboo, which is still from the same stamp set. It's this one here that I'm using. And this one I'm going to use real red ink. Okay, now what I did with this, because I'm only going to be cutting pieces out certain areas, I am going to start off, let's turn this sideways, it's easier for me. Okay, one piece there, and then one piece there. Now I want to fill in that gap, but I don't want to have all of this stem here, because this is a the balloons. I'm going to be selective of where I die cut my circles from, so I'm putting a piece of paper over so that when I stamp this, the stem is going to come onto here. Okay, so I can choose where my stamp goes. Okay, so that doesn't matter because I can avoid that quite easily when I do my stamping. Right, this one is going to be going off anyway, so that's alright. Now the next one I'm going to fill in here, so I want to cover up the stem again. So choose where I'm going. Okay, so just do your complete sheet like that. This is my sheet. I've already done 3 circles from here. I don't know why I did 3, it was only enough to do 2 really. But in a way I am pleased that I've done 3. I'll explain that when I get there. So as you can see, this piece here, I got covered up my paper so that I didn't see the stem coming down. That piece there I didn't worry about. I didn't ink that very well, but I can avoid that by wherever I put my die. So I think that's the only stamping I need to do, isn't it? So let me get the big shot up. Let me move that up there. I don't like red ink lying around, or at least stamps that I've used red ink on. So, first of all, I'm going to decide where I'm going to cut my circle. And the circle that I'm using is number 3 from the Layering Circles Framelits. I'm taking the straight cut. The smaller the number, the smaller the die. So that's 1, 2, 3. So now I can choose where I want my circle to be. I think that looks okay. Absolutely no right or wrong with this. Move it up a little bit. I'll get some more in the corner up there. Yep, that's good. I could spend ages fussing about with this. Here's my other sheet. Okay, so that's that piece. I will save this because there's plenty more there to do another card if I want to. Pop that up there. Now the other bit of die cutting I need is I've used 2 pieces from the Quilt Builder. Now what I did was I just went through all my dies to have a look to see what I could find that would do this kind of thing for me. And what I found was in this one, the cotton reel, which is what I've used for the top and bottom, this bit here, and the needle, and that is what I've used for this bit up here. Unfortunately, since I've made this card, I've lost the needle. So, as the saying goes, I'm going to be looking for a needle in a haystack to try and find that. I have checked over my desk and I cannot find it anywhere. But time was running out, so I thought, well, I'll get my video done first and then I can start looking for it. Fortunately, for some reason, I'd already die cut the 3. I die cut 3 circles and I'd also die cut 3 of these. But I can still do one of these ones for you, but I can't show you the needle because I've lost it. So sorry about that. So just one cotton reel, and I think that's all the die cutting I need, isn't it? The sentiment I've done by where's my paper piercer? There it is. I've used the punch for the sentiment. Okay, so it's these little bumpy bits here that I think is really good for the lantern. One idea that I did think of, if you don't have that set, I'll tell you something that would be useful for that you could use for the little loop bit, and that's this stamp set, which is Petals and More. If you've got this, these leaves here, you could die cut one of those and that would work. Or if you don't have this particular stamp set, have a look at the leaves that you've got, because that will give you a good shape. Right, so I think I can get rid of this now. Now, because my lantern is going to be going on to, it's very vanilla and it's going on to very vanilla, what I've done is I've sponged the edges. So this is one of our Daubers, which I find easiest to use. It just helps to give it a definition between the lantern and the top layer. Alright, so that's all I do on that. In fact, let me move that out of the way because I always find it distracting when there's stamping underneath. Right, let me just bring these 2 over that I've already made. Okay, so they're ready to go. Now, the way that I do the lines, I use an ordinary pencil. Oh, let's close that. And I use one of these little plastic lids, which is one of the lids you get on the top of, if you order any of our embellishments, they come in plastic tubs, and this is the lid, and that I have found is great. One thing that doesn't work is, don't try doing it with one of these pencils and your circle. I tried that. What happened was, as I was running my pencil round, the lead was actually getting shaved, and I finished up with a lot of lead shavings on there, and of course it left dirty marks, so that is not a good idea. But this one works brilliantly. And what I do is I decide which is the right way. Okay, so easy on this one because that's going to be at the bottom, so I turn it sideways, and then I just use this In fact, let me bring my, I've got another sheet of paper here, let's bring that under here. That's it. And then all I do is use my pencil and draw round there and move it up very slightly and come round again. I don't know what gap this is, but I imagine it's probably about 1/8 of an inch, possibly, I don't think it's 1/4 of an inch, so let's say 1/8. And this pencil is quite a heavy pencil as well. It's not marked, it doesn't tell me what it is, but it is quite a dark one. Okay, so just do it like that and your circle now looks like a lantern. So easy, isn't it? So we'll get rid of that again. And now I'm going to bring in my silicone mat because I want to do this bit. So what I do is I just take one of the cotton reels, cut it in half, that's what I need. And then Tombow, you could use fast fuse with this. And I just put it towards the bottom. Oh no, don't tell me you've gummed up again. I think you have. Oh, that's better. So just along the bottom there, or maybe not. That's because that little plug is there. Oh, that's it. Sorted. And that is far too much. That is definitely going to ooze everywhere. So I'm going to bring my paper back and blot it off. Can you see what I'm doing there? I think I was off screen there, wasn't I? Okay, so that's what I was doing. Ah, got it stuck on my jumper. That's it. Right, so that goes underneath the bottom. And I do it so you can just about see the wider bit coming out. And then the top one. Again, just as the wider bit at the top there comes out. And then for my needle, I'm just going to put a very small line of glue, oops, on here. And if you turn it around, and I can put that exactly where I want it to go. Okay, so there's that one. And I have some Action Wobbles. Unfortunately, I cannot recommend the company that I bought these from. The actual product is brilliant. It's a Hampton Art product and they're called Action Wobbles. We bought these just before Christmas and we went online to do it. And we assumed that we were ordering from the UK because it said delivery was either £1.74 or £2.74. But as it turned out, it was coming from the States, and it took about 4 weeks, which isn't what we were hoping for. And when we queried it with the company, it wasn't actually the company who supplied these. There was like a middleman in between, a company called Fruugo, Fruugo, and we're not quite sure how it works, but it sounds like they are like a middleman. We order through one, and then they send through this company, and it comes out to us. Well, Fruugo insists that it said on the website as we were ordering that it would be coming from the States, but it didn't. And we had screenshots of what had happened, but they closed the inquiry once we said that. They just didn't want to know. So, I know you can get these in the UK. We would never have ordered from the States. I will try and find out the name of the actual company that we bought from, rather than the middleman. Now, what you do with these is you take the backing off on the plastic side, because you've got one side that's plastic and you've got one piece that is acetate. So if you take the plastic off first, that goes on the back of your lantern. Turn that sideways. Much easier if you can get your head over this. There we go. And then I'm going to put my card together, which are these pieces. That's right, and this one here. Oh, I didn't show you the inside of my card, did I? I hadn't planned this. This was really a stroke of luck. I had this piece of vanilla, very vanilla, and I'd been practicing what sort of background I wanted, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll just do 3, and then decided, no, I didn't like that, so I turned it over and it did another one, but that turned out too busy. And then I thought, oh, that would look quite nice on the inside, so I just did the face and the friendship in there as well. But I haven't done anything for the inside of this card. I will probably copy that, I think, but it won't be on this video. But I will show a photograph on my blog tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yes, I'll be posting this video tomorrow. On Saturday the 17th of February, day after Chinese New Year starts, we're up to London to see the show Shen Yun, which is all Chinese dancing. It looks as if it's going to be an absolutely fantastic show, and we'll be going to Chinatown as well, and apparently Chinatown have a parade on the 17th, so it looks like we're in for a really good day. Right, so that's that. I will put these two in here, even though I'm not going to be stamping. In fact, no, I'm not going to stamp on the very vanilla bit, because oh dear, what is the matter with me? Because I might want to stamp so the design goes off, particularly if I decide to do the bamboo. So I will save that bit till later. Right, now to do the lanterns, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use our linen thread this time. Okay, so first of all I'm going to adhere these. So I just take this backing off. Might be easier with my fingers. And I have no rhyme or reason where I put these, why I put them where I do. I just don't like them being regimental, all in a line. And I don't like them all being straight either. These didn't come with any instructions about which way you put these onto your image, but I assume it's the acetate to go on the cardstock, otherwise you just see a big lump of plastic if you looked sideways. Don't you just love these? Right, so what I'm going to do is, I have here somewhere, is that a knot? Oh, yes, that is a knot. Ah, here we go. I have a needle threader which helps me get through these holes, although this might be easier than, I really struggled with the, let's do it down this way first, baker's twine, because it was really soft, so this came in really handy. But if you do struggle, if you use linen thread and you struggle, by all means use one of those. So where was that knot that I noticed? Up there. Oh, that's all right. So what I'm going to do first of all, you can do this so that you don't adhere all your 3 layers onto your card first. You could just put this one and tuck it underneath the red layer, but I like to have the little bow there. Maybe you didn't notice it. See, I've got a little bow there and at the other end. I think that looks nice. So I just take 2 what they call bunny ears, and then I fold them over each other. And then doing that back to front. I put the right hand behind the left hand. It's a bit fiddly because it's quite short I'm trying to work with here. Right, and then I can put the left one towards the back and through the hole. There we go. And then just keep pulling it this way and that way until you get a nice sized bow. There we go, I think that'll be okay. Right, so I now need to pull this one through so I can do a bow this side. In fact, what I'm going to do is just cut off the other side of the knot so the knot stays over there. Oops! I just knocked something else on the floor, didn't I? Crikey, really not my day today for keeping things on my table. Right, okay, so taking 2 loops again. I had a nice surprise today. There was a knock at the front door, went down to answer it, and there was a man standing there with a beautiful presentation, like a wooden trough thing that was full of spring flowers for me. It was from hubby because it's our 19th anniversary today. Yesterday I posted on the blog that a card I'd made, I said I was so ready for spring, and then I find a bit of spring actually comes into my house. It really is beautiful. There's daffodils in there, there's hyacinths, really beautiful. And I really think I shouldn't talk. I should really concentrate on what I am doing. Come on, make that hole, that one smaller, that's it. That's it. Got there in the end. But my goodness, what a struggle. There we go. Is that about the same size as the other end? A bit smaller, but never mind. So what I do with this, I use Tombow, and I just put a very, very tiny dot there and a tiny dot there. And I push that, the knot of the bow on there, and then the knot of this bow on there, and just hold it for a little while. That's going to stick in the wrong place, isn't it? Let me straighten that up, otherwise I'm going to have my string going up in the air. There we go. So just give that a little while to dry. And then I don't really like to have all this string just floating around, or baker's twine, whatever you use. So what I do, again, I put a little dot of Tombow in two places. Doesn't really matter where, but it's just to get this to anchor down. So just give that a little while to get a grip. And then what I do with the sentiment, I already had that on my PC because I did it, I still had it from years ago, I'd saved it. I did two side by side with a gap between them, and then I did 4 down, where is it, like this, and I just put, this was one full sheet of A4, so I had one there, and I just put it through my printer, and then I was able to cut the bottom half off and then use that for other things because I got it that way. And now what I'll do is I will save these and the other ones for future cards that I make. But I'm very lucky in as much as that fits into here beautifully. This is our classic label punch. So let's cut that one off. Considering that I did this all those years ago, for it to fit in our punch like this, it's amazing. And then I punched out a red one. Where's my red cardstock? I can't see any, so let me get a new piece. That may have been what I sent flying on the floor. Right, here we go. I did toy with the idea of just sponging around the edge, but I dismissed that idea. So I just cut this in half. Which way am I doing this? Let's put the glue on our sentiment. And then, is that the wrong side round? No, it looks better that way, doesn't it? Okay, so just pop that on there, and I just put my fingers like that to make sure that it's on there straight, and so that I don't have any red sticking out. And then I'll pop this one on and I'll do the same. There are various ways of spelling Kung Hee Fat Choi, okay. I just hope that if you're Chinese and you're watching my video, I hope I've said that well enough. Bearing in mind that I'm not Chinese. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to adhere this with my mini dimensionals. Right, let me just tip this up so that I can make sure I get this straight. There we go. So there, oh, let me just trim this bit off. There we go. So there we go, there's my Chinese New Year card, Kung Hee Fat Choi. Hope you like it. And if you're fed up with making Valentine's card and you fancy something different, do give this a try. I will see if I can, I must be able to find out what the what font it is that I've used and also the size of it. So I'll put that in the box below the video where I put all the information for you. But there we go, 2 cards, just altered them around. Which one do you like best? Not sure that I have a favourite at the moment. Anyway, many thanks for joining me today. I hope you give this project a try, and if you have any comments, any questions, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always happy to help you and I do like to read what you think. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below. I will also put in the box below all the measurements of everything and the products that I've used. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, which is normally on Wednesdays and Sundays. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.